Hello and what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And I just made a video earlier today about Lich, but unfortunately he just got nerfed here. It is 6 p.m. and I uploaded my video around 2 hours ago, or about actually 1.5 hours ago. Fortunately, I didn't look at the changes quite yet. I just know that he was changed. I think it was just a slight nerf, but I think his ice armor was changed. Let's check it out. Oh, it's actually not too significant. I still think he is pickable. This just makes him a little bit less useful, right? Before, you could use his ultimate to cancel things like Black Hole through BKB, and now that this has been changed, he can no longer do that. The ice armor nerf doesn't really matter too much, I would say, because a lot of times you are maxing it out, because he does get the experience up quite quickly if you just keep eating range creeps throughout the game. But this makes it a little bit less useful with just a value point in it. But the rest of this video is just going to be an overall patch analysis. It is a small patch, 7.06F. And with this patch coming like this, it seems like the next patch won't be coming anytime soon. Most likely we're gonna see the next patch arriving probably a month from now, maybe 2 months even, if they're gonna just bother to make a small balance change like this. I wouldn't see the big patch coming anytime in the foreseeable future. So anyway, with all that aside, let's get right into the patch here. So it looks like Mask of Madness has been nerfed a little bit. I'm not so sure why. It is picked up on heroes like Troll Warlord to great effect, and I would say that's only I guess Sven as well. Cooldown has also been increased. I don't really get the reason behind that. Looks like Helm of Dom has been buffed a little bit by 5 attack speed. Wow. The item has kind of been ignored. You really don't ever see it anymore, and I think any small buffs to it will maybe lean people towards picking it up again. Anyway, Force Staff, one of the best items in the game. Cast range has been nerfed a little bit. It's going to mean that supports will have to get a little bit closer to come in and save their carry. Diffusal Blade, but nerfed. Yeah, Diffusal Blade, one of the best items in the game, in my opinion, right now. And it's not surprising to see a slight nerf to it. Just 5 agi, so it's not that big of a deal, but you're getting a little bit less value out of your gold now. So the item changes, nothing too significant here, but let's go to the hero changes and let's see how many there are. Actually, it's a decent amount. So starting off with Ancient Apparition, mana costs increase. I'm surprising to see that hero nerfed. He wasn't picked that much at TI. He was kind of a go-to pick for a lot of Chinese teams, along with Void, or just any team fighting lineup in general. But this is going to mean that he probably has to lean towards a mana item, because as of now you see Ancient Apparitions kind of just go for like Brown Boots Midas or maybe Tranquil Boots and not really having to go a mana item. But now we may see Mana Boots more commonly on Ancient Apparition, with the actually significant 50 mana cost increase at level 1 for his Ice Blast. Anyway, next hero will be Bane. Base strength, agi, and intelligence increased by 1. I would say this is actually pretty significant. He's already a really strong bully level 1. This will only increase that, and the cast point for Nightmare as well being reduced means that he can just get it off in clutch moments, either save a teammate, save himself, or catch an enemy team or catch an enemy player off guard, allowing you to combo in things like Arrow, Torrent, and things like that. I do think this is a significant buff to Bane. He was kind of ignored at TI because what he kind of does is dominate the lane, but there's just better heroes to do so, aka Lich. He doesn't really do it in the same way, but in terms of a hero being annoying in lane, Lich just was better overall because he was able to actually control the experience gain of the enemy team. And I mean, of course his stats aren't good as Bane, but being able to deny experience is just so much more important than being a big bully. Actually, a lot of those heroes that are big lane bullies, like Ogre and Bane, have been phased out a little bit because people are more preferring heroes like Lich, Io, and more so roamers for their 4 position. Again, Bane 5 position doesn't feel that strong because he gets a slow level 6. As a lane support, he's okay, but again, Lich does his job better just because of the experience denial, and he didn't really find his position at TI. I believe he was one of the least picked heroes, if not picked at all. I'm not so sure, but it's nice seeing him receive a small buff. It's one of my, I wouldn't say my favorite heroes, but it's one of my heroes that I like to play as annoying run at you, hit you in the face, because he does a lot of damage at level 1. He has good stats. His attack, basic attack time is pretty good as well. And I wonder if this will actually make him relevant again. I don't think so, because just what he does other than that isn't too great. And he's kind of a ganking hero, really relies on Fiend's Grip, but right now everyone's like picking stuns up the wazoo, so good luck getting a full duration Fiend's Grip off. And because everything is team fight oriented, Fiend's Grip isn't the greatest team fighting spell. It's really good for ganking, but other than that, I'm just gonna move on. Batrider nerfed again, just a slight mana cost increase. It will matter because a lot of times Batriders that do want to rush Blink go straight for Blink, but now we might see them go for like some type of mana regen, maybe bottle. It isn't too common anymore on like offlane bats, but maybe we'll see the return. Nothing much to say there. Bloodseeker changed. The mana cost is increased on Rupture. He's a pretty low mana pool hero, so this is pretty significant. He'll probably have to vary out more clarities, and in general, this makes him less effective. He'll have to spend a little bit more gold on consumables and less gold on items that actually help him out. I do think it is a needed nerf. The hero is kind of annoying at this point. He's one of the pub stompy heroes, higher win rate in pubs, and we saw him picked up a decent amount in pro games as well at TI. Well, finally, Chen by 25 though. Alright, that's still not significant. It's Ice Frog acknowledging that this spell is shit, but that's not going to do much. 25 HP for what? Moving on. Earthshaker cooldown increase at level 1, and it stays the same at level 4. I do think the hero does deserve a little bit of a nerf. He's kind of annoying what he can do. Early levels, he just constant fissure, prevents aggression, can even set up ganks with nice fissure blocks. And now enchant totem mana cost is also increased. That hero does have some mana problems until he gets like a soul ringer and something like that. So usually enchant totem stays level 1 though, and it's only 15 increase, and it's the same at level 4. Yeah, so it's overall a slight nerf to him. I think most of these changes aren't that big of a deal as we go through. Just basically make him a little less viable. Of course, we already kind of went over the Lich, so I won't talk much more about that. And our Align change. This also was a hero that was somewhat ignored at TI, and Earth Spike Sun Duration increased at level 1. This is pretty good. It's by 0.3 seconds at level 1, 0.2 at level 2, 0.1, and it eventually scales to be the same. Now his level 20 talent has been changed from 8% spell lamp to 300 Finger of Death damage. How much damage is that? Like 1,000 something damage. It's nice. I'm not sure what his other talent is, but I think I'd consider going this. Anyway, some small buffs to Line, which I think that's all he really needs. He's not really bad or anything. He just is outshined by other heroes, and I think with the small nerfs to Earthshaker, this will make him a little bit more viable. And with no tournaments really coming anytime soon, I'd say most of these changes are just going to affect pubs, unless we're actually going to see a long time before the patch comes, and we're going to play in this patch for probably 2 more months, 3 more months. In that case, we're going to see this played in some tournaments. And I'm not so sure what they're still considering, because there are 2 new heroes, and the next patch is probably going to be pretty big. So we might actually be playing on this patch for a while, and as it will affect our pubs, it will also affect pro games in the future. Now, like in Howl no longer provides net heal or buff application loss, always maintains same HP percentage now. So this is actually a big nerf to Lycan. It can no longer be used with heroes like Io to get an absurd amount of heal, and he also can't just wait. No longer provides a net. I'm trying to read this properly. So it doesn't heal, right? It maintains the same HP percentage. So what it does is increases your total HP, and then it keeps you at the same HP percentage. Before, it would increase your total HP, and then it would heal you for that same amount. So I'm not so sure how the numbers work out in terms of like how much heal it gives you now, but all in all is a significant nerf to the IO combo, and I mean, I guess that's it, but we'll have to see. I actually have to test it out, but because I can't do the math in my head, that's way too hard. So let's say, for example, it gives you 400 HP, right? So you have 1000 HP, and before it would give you, let's say you're missing some HP, so you were at 500 HP, you're about half HP. Before, it would bring you to 900, because it would give you 400 HP heal, and then it'll increase your max HP by 400 as well. So you'd have 1400 max HP, if that makes sense. But now what it would do is it still keeps you at 50%. So it increases you to 1400 HP, but it keeps you at 50%. So that's 700 HP. Yeah, so that's actually 50% decrease in that scenario, and I'm not so sure how the math works out in other scenarios, but it actually is a significant nerf to just the healing as well. So I like that. It was a little bit too ridiculous there on the Lycan. Alright, Nature's Prophet, base movement speed reduced. Yeah, he was moving a little bit too fast, because of course his common build now is just boot starts, so this is going to nerf him a little bit. It's going to make him a little bit easier to catch and try to go for a kill on early levels, because this is where he shines at level 1, where you can't really fight against tree ants, and he summons 4 of them and he's just ruining your lane. And now you're gonna have a better chance of maybe catching him for first blood and try to shut him out of your lane. Now Sprout flying vision significantly reduced. I do like this. We saw mind control use Sprout to great effect, snipe couriers, spot heroes hiding in the trees and things like that, and I do think the vision nerf is going to hit him not too hard, but it's definitely going to weaken some aspects of the hero, which I think the hero was, I mean, if you watch TI at all, a very strong pick, especially in the right hands. Anyway, moving to Necrophos. Alright, let's see what they did to this guy. Reaper Scythe cooldown increased to 100 at all levels. Huge nerf. Now he really has to get Ags for that lower cooldown. Otherwise, it's a significant cooldown on his ultimate, even at level 3. Now Ghost Shroud magic resistance penalty increased. So he's going to take a little bit more magic damage now when he uses Ghost Shroud, which is a really strong ability of all things to nerf. I thought they would nerf the healing, but I guess this is going to make it so heroes that do heavy magic damage will be a little bit better against Necrophos. Not the biggest nerf in the world, but I would say the Reaper Scythe nerf is pretty significant. It's going to mean that he's just going to have that on cooldown a lot more, and he won't be able to consistently use Reaper Scythe in the late game, which that ability is just super strong come late game. So I do think this is a warranted nerf to Necrophos, and oftentimes we even see Necrophos just skipping the Aghanims and just opting for more tank, but now they're probably going to have to commit that gold onto Aghanims if they want to consistently use the Reaper Scythe in team fights multiple times. Anyway, Night Stalker nerf, darkness duration reduced by 10 seconds. It's something small, but I do think the hero does deserve it. He's pretty strong, and darkness is pretty absurd if you just look at what the ability does, reducing the vision of like wars and everything on the map. I can deal with 10 seconds less of that. Anyway, Nyx Assassin, base damage reduced by 3. This doesn't hurt him as a support really, but I mean, hurts him as an offlaner, I guess, because as a support you really don't care too much about your base damage, because Nyx Assassin isn't really a hero to right click people anyway, even though he can. So he has good armor and base regen, but it's a small thing that will affect Nyx Assassin as a core position, I guess, more so than a support, but it's whatever. Puck, one of the strongest mid heroes, got his flying vision reduced. Illusory over flying vision reduced from 550 to 450. 100 vision, it's somewhat significant, right? I mean, Nature's Prophet got hit by 250, but 100 vision for the orb may mean that you don't get a vision for a kill barely, and hero like manages to fog you or something like that, but it's not that big of a deal. I think the hero is still strong. It's just, once again, a lot of these changes are just to make heroes that were a bit too strong just slightly weaker in one aspect of their kit. Now, Shadow Demon, these some changes here. 15 talent from plus 8% to 10% spell amp. I think this hero is already pretty strong right now. He wasn't picked that much at TI, but this is pretty significant. Cast range increase as well. I don't know what you go for now, huh? That's 100 cast range. That's a lot. I think it depends on your role in that game. If your role is just to cast the disruption to save somebody, I guess you would go for the cast range. If your role is to potentially dish out damage, you go for the spell amp. So they buff both of these talents. Doesn't make him too strong because they don't like buff talents in different trees, but makes his level 15 talent overall a lot stronger, so favors him getting to that level. A lot of times he's still played as 5, so it's pretty unlikely that he does get to level 15, but I do think the hero is pretty powerful. The big change on his E makes a big difference with the cast point. You can just cast it a lot faster and you can land it a lot easier. Who the heck is messaging me? Can you shut the fuck? Alright. Skywrath Mage, Mystic Flare mana cost reduced at level 1 and 2 just slightly. This hero hasn't been picked a lot either. Some scenarios I do think he's good with, like hero combos like Legion Commander and things like that, where you have a hard lockdown. His talent went from 10% spell lifesteal. Can you stop messaging me? 15%. Do you even level this? I think you do now. It's a decent amount, and if you hit someone with the ultimate, that's like almost like, it's not a full heal, but it's a significant amount of healing with the Mystic Flare. So again, I think both these changes to Shadow Demon and Skywrath Mage made heroes that were kind of niche, just a little bit stronger, and they're more pickable in general. So what's the Spirit Breaker nerf? Base move speed reduced by 5. Oh no, Spirit Breaker. He's already a slow hero at level 1 without boots or anything like that, so it just makes him a little bit slower. He can't catch up to some heroes now with that 5 move speed change, and it's really important that he does catch up to heroes, because I mean that's all he does early game, right? Is run to you and try to hit you with Orb of Venom. So it's not significant, but it is actually a pretty, I won't say big nerf, but it's gonna hurt him a lot in the early game. Spectre Haunt illusion damage increased. So now Spectre Haunt just does a little bit more damage. I think the hero's actually pretty good where she is now, but this is gonna make her stronger. It's actually pretty significant in the late game because her illusions start to do a lot of damage, especially to like support heroes. So I think Spectre is pick to watch out for now. What did they do to Sven now? Stormbolt stun duration reduced just slightly. A lot of times Svens leave their stun at level 1 because the duration is the same, right? Only the damage increases, but now this will mean that Svens might level up their stun now instead of just leaving at level 1, depending on the game. If you need that extra stun duration, it's only 0.3, but it can mean the difference between a kill and a hero getting away. And Warcry cooldown has also been increased just slightly by 1 at level 1, 2 level 2, and then 3 level, it's weird, 4 at level 5. That's just weird how that worked, but it's actually significantly longer now. It was a little bit too low cooldown for how long it lasted. I'm not so sure how long it lasted, but it's pretty low downtime if I can remember. But I don't know the exact numbers, but decent nerf. Just means there's going to be a lot more downtime between his war cries, and the hero is pretty strong. So there you go. Did knock EG out of TI. Rip NA Dota. Anyway, down to Tiny here. Mana cost reduced at level 1. That's actually pretty significant because this hero has a pretty low mana pool, and any mana cost reduction, especially by 30 at level 1, will mean that his early game is a lot stronger. He can just spam his spells more and in general buy less regen items. Now his Growth Scepter attack range bonus increased. Oh, that's a significant range increase for like Tiny. He can hit the tower from even further away, makes him harder to go on, doesn't have to commit. I think the reason behind this is a lot of Tinies now are just skipping the Scepter. Like that build is kind of phased out on Tiny because he just comes online a bit too slow for how the game is playing out now. So we see a lot of Tinies now just go for Echo Saber, Shadow Blades, Blink Daggers, and just play like this aggressive ganking hero. But now I don't say it will warrant the return of like carry Tiny, but this hero just feels too weak. He's not even picked with IO anymore. That's how weak he is. So with this, we might see a return. It is a pretty significant range bonus. And ooh, Undying buff. The attacks required to kill the Tombstone has been increased at all levels by 1. I think this hero is pretty good. He was ignored at TI because people were just favoring stunning team fighting heroes instead of like lane dominers, as I said before with Bane. But I do think that this change will make him pretty good, because keep in mind he can heal his Tombstone. The more attacks that you need to kill it means that you have to commit longer, and with that he just kind of slowly kills you with his zombies and his decay. So decent buff there to Undying. I like that. He's one of my favorite heroes. Now Venomancer, what did it do to him? Decrease his ward vision, so it's 800 daytime and nighttime, and with that means that it's just less useful for scouting, and that's all they really did to him. So he's pretty much the same, just a little bit less useful in terms of scouting. But I mean, who scouts with Venom wards anyway? Right, you just place them right in the middle of your creep camp and use them to farm and block the camp, and that's what I see Venomancers do with the wards. So it's not that big of a change. It is a significant vision reduction though, so if you're actually using the Plague Wards as a scout, it will hurt you. But anyway, down to Windrunner. Shackle duration increased significantly at level 1. That means just level 1 shackles is a lot better. Cooldown has also been increased. Alright, so I mean, it just evens out. I think that this is good for the hero, that you'd rather have longer cooldown on shackles. You're not spamming it that much, right? Especially if it's just level 1. Usually not that much fighting is happening, and you'd rather have it last longer than be on lower cooldown. So I think it's okay. Winter Wyvern, what did they do to him? This hero actually has really high win rate in pubs. Of course, he was awful at TI, so they actually buffed him. Just his talents though. They increased his move speed talent slightly and his damage talent slightly, but these talents are both kind of garbage. Normally you go for the move speed talent, so this will help him out. He's a pretty slow hero, or she is a pretty slow hero, and I think you still go for the move speed, because who cares? 75. I guess in certain scenarios you are right click people just because of the nature of your Arctic burn ability, so you might go for this as plus 25 extra damage. Who knows? It depends on the game. I still think both talents are pretty bad, unless you're carry Wyvern. Of course you go for like the damage. Anyway, Wraith King, I do think this hero has potential in the future. He's really strong. I think, but it's just kind of ignored. There's a lot of counters like mana burn heroes, like anti-mage doesn't farm very fast, and he's really strong if you can like get him farmed, because he just becomes a beast and he actually hits pretty hard. And what did it actually do to him? They reduced the reincarnation cooldown at level 1 significantly by 40 seconds. I think that is a pretty good change, because a lot of times dying at level 1, reincarnation just sucks because it seems like it's on cooldown forever. And they also changed the talent from plus 15 move speed to 30. I don't know what the other talent is, but I mean, it's not significant change at all. But I think if they leave Wraith King where he is right now and nerf the other carries, which some other carries are already nerfed, like Tiny, or not Tiny, Sven and Lycan, I think that he might find his place in the meta. What is this? That was before. So anyway, that's going to be it for my patch analysis, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed discussing this small patch. How long did I take to do this? Did I pull up Persian? No, I took 25 minutes. I kind of went over everything as well and talked a little bit about where the heroes fit in the meta and why they were nerfed. So hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I'll upload, I guess I'm double uploading today. I wasn't planning on it, but the patch came and I found the opportunity to record some more content. So I'll see you guys in the next video.